In today's video, I'm going to give you 5 tips to make it easier to hit your step goal. Back in 2015, I started setting a step goal for myself of 14,000 steps. And since that time, I've been fairly consistent with sticking with it. There have been times where after I lost the 80 pounds and I was just kind of maintaining, I would take breaks and just kind of figure out, do I still want to keep doing this? But what I have found is that having a step goal that I hit consistently is just a major way to keep myself feeling good and motivated in not only the weight loss journey, but also in maintenance. It keeps me feeling like I've accomplished something. That victory is something that is very much within my control. Whereas the scale, on a day-to-day basis, may be up or down, kind of depending on what the water weight's doing. But having that step goal keeps me feeling good and encouraged. But I know from firsthand experience that it's not easy in the beginning to just be consistent, because it can feel kind of like it's just this big deal to hit your step goal. It feels like a lot of steps. It feels like a lot of time. And really, it is a lot of time. I mean, it takes me about 2 hours out of my day to hit my step goal if I just count the steps and how long it takes to get them. So tip number 1, and this has really helped me, was to just count all the steps. I remember when I first, set my step goal, I kind of thought, well, should I take my Fitbit off when I'm not going on a dedicated walk? Because, when I'm just walking around the house, does that count? And I realized, to make this as easy as possible, the thing that I care about is that I move that distance each day. It's not that I go for one long, walk each day. It's just, I want to move that much each day. I highly recommend getting a tracker of some sort. Right now I have a Casio G-Shock, which has a step tracker in it. Or you can also use a Fitbit. The reason I now use a Casio is because I just wanted something that looked like a watch. But Fitbits work great, and Fitbits give you digital badges, which you may find is encouraging and helps you to be more consistent, which is actually something I found to be true for myself. Tip number 2 is to break things down a bit. When you are first starting out trying to get a bunch of steps in, especially if it's something, that really is going to take a chunk of your time, I found it really helpful to just break it down into 1,000 step chunks. I knew that 1,000 steps was about 10 minutes of walking, and 10 minutes of walking always seemed very doable. When I would sometimes think about 14,000 steps, I get really intimidated, but instead just breaking it down and then allowing myself to take breaks, even though it was just walking, even though it was slow walking. I mean, I was overweight. I was obese at that point, actually. And I needed some time just to sit down. And guess what? These days, even though I'm in great shape, I still have times where I'm like, I'm just wanting to take a break. And so I'll just say, okay, once I get to, 8,000 steps, then I'll sit down and take a break. And it makes things so much easier. Tip number 3 is to do things you enjoy while you're walking. While you're getting your steps in, you can do a lot of different things. You can be talking on the phone, making, appointments and that kind of thing if you're wanting to do actual tasks, or you can talk to, your mom or your sister or whoever. You can also video chat. You can listen to podcasts. You can watch movies. All those things were things I did, especially in the early days of trying to be consistent, because when I did those things, I would actually enjoy myself. And when I enjoyed myself, then I started to actually look forward to the walk. And if you can start to look forward to your walk, that's when things get really easy, because then you don't have to convince yourself. You're like, no, I really like that thing, because when I'm up walking around, good things are happening. And so do whatever it takes to get yourself up and walking around. Tip number 4 is to be comfortable. Now, this is, for me, I like to be barefoot, okay? My favorite way to walk is just barefoot. I love it. I don't particularly like shoes. I'm grateful for shoes, but I don't know, my feet, they don't really like shoes in general. I've tried a bunch of different shoes. My favorite ones are New Balance or Rishis. I do like them, but my real preference is barefoot hiking, barefoot walking. Even in the Florida sun, it's really hot outside sometimes, but I really do enjoy it. But make sure your shoes fit. Make sure that the clothes that you're wearing are comfortable. If you find that you are feeling miserable on your walk because your clothes don't fit right, or you feel self-conscious or whatever, go get the things that will help you to feel comfortable on the walk. Make sure it's weather appropriate too. If it's really cold outside, make sure you've got some warm stuff to throw on if you're going to walk outside. That leads me to the 5th tip, which is to walk inside your house. This is a game changer. Once you realize that you can get all your steps inside your house where it's climate controlled and you have no excuses, it just makes it so that it's easy because you don't really have excuses not to get them in. And the weather's always good. And even late at night, you can be up walking around, finishing up that step goal. So it makes things a lot easier. You know, when you're having to like go somewhere, it makes it more difficult. Like if you say, well, I'm only going to get my steps in at the gym, for example, well, then that means you got to like actually get ready to go to the gym, make time for it in your day, go get out in traffic, go to the thing and get on the treadmill and walk your steps and then come back. But, you know, if you just tell yourself, no, I'm just going to get them here at home, you know, if you think of it only as being an outside activity, then the weather, you're at the mercy of it. You know, you might find that, oh, well, it's too hot today. Oh, it's too cold today. Oh, you know, it's raining today and I lost my chance because now I'm busy. But if you just say, no, I'm getting all my steps in and I can do them inside, that doesn't mean you always have to do them inside, but just knowing that it's an option, then it really does make things easier. And I would highly recommend just, you know, for one day, show yourself that you can do it. Just get every step inside. And then you'll know, like, well, yeah, I can do it. And so now I have no excuse. And really, when you get past all the excuses, things do become a lot easier because you know that you can do it. And then you just go about the business of doing it. Thanks for watching that video. I hope you found it helpful and I'll see you in the next one. Chances are, since you just watched that video, you're on the weight loss journey yourself. And I just wanted to let you know that I do have some more resources available to you. First of all, I have lots of freebies on my website, 6milestosupper.com/freebies. On that page, you can find lots of downloads and printables that will help you on the weight loss journey. And I've written 3 different books to help you through the process. Also, I have a course on Teachable, Intermittent Fasting for Weight Loss 101. And this takes you through the entire process of weight loss with intermittent fasting, from how to get started and then how to build your plan and customize it to your own life. And finally, how to keep it off for the rest of your life. And I also offer weekly office hours so that you can get your questions answered directly by me. Also, there's the option to join this channel. When you become an insider, you get access to the vlog I do. I also hold an additional live Q&A just for members. The links to all these things are in the description.